Clarity, the Seven Demons of Vanguardia was developed by Team Quantum Games and published on Xbox by Eastasiasoft. Team Quantum Games appears to be a small independent studio, with Clarity serving as their debut commercial title. Meanwhile, Eastasiasoft has built a strong reputation over the years by bringing indie games to consoles, publishing hundreds of titles across Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and PC. They often work with smaller developers teams to help their games reach a much wider audience. You can definitely tell Clarity was a passion project. Rather than focusing purely on action and platforming, the team built the game around themes of grief, perseverance, and overcoming the personal demons we all face. It's the kind of message that sticks with you long after the credits roll. Before I get into my review, I want to share something that the game tells you even before you start the game. Clarity is dedicated to all those who face their demons. We wish to honor those who have experienced disability, addiction, mental illness, abuse, poverty, homelessness, loneliness, or any other challenge that besets a hero. Now, I could have simply left it on the screen for you to read, but I felt it deserved to be read aloud. The developers clearly wanted players to see the message before experiencing the game, and I think it's important enough to give it respect it deserves. Right from the opening moments, Clarity honestly feels like the beginning of a Pixar movie. You're introduced into a loving father and son, only for the happiness to be ripped away when death comes to claim the father. It's an emotional opening that immediately gives the adventure purpose. Interestingly though, the majority of the game isn't actually about the son growing up. Instead it's told through metaphor. I spent most of the playthrough trying to piece together how everything connected, and by the time the credits rolled, I realized that each demon isn't just another boss fight. It's symbolic of overcoming one hardship after another. You simply play as the Traveler, whose mission is to defeat death itself. From the perspective of a child, death has taken away the most important person in your life, and now they set out to the journey for revenge. Mechanically, the game starts by allowing you to choose one of 6 demons to challenge first, while death serves as the 7th and final encounter. Every defeated demon awards you with both a new sword and a new magic projectile, each carrying its own elemental properties. This is where Clarity immediately reminded me of Mega Man. You can tackle the bosses in any order you want, but there is definitely an optimal route because each newly earned weapon is especially effective against another boss. The elemental chain works like this. Wood defeats air, air defeats poison, poison defeats ice, ice defeats fire, and fire defeats wood. That leaves lava as the only known boss without an elemental weakness, making it a pretty good starting point if you're looking the easiest route. Once you've selected your first stage, the game walks you through a simple tutorial. Your basic move set includes a sword attack for close range combat, a magical staff for range attacks, a double jump, and an air dash quickly becomes essential for both platforming and exploration. Magic is fueled by what's called your Clarity Sphere, while your health system works a little differently than most games. Besides your normal health bar, you also have an overflow health container. Here's the interesting part. When you pick up health, it doesn't immediately heal your character. Instead, it fills the overflow heart. If you're playing with an Xbox controller, pressing Y transfers the stored health into your main life bar whenever you need it. It's a little unusual at first, but after about 20 minutes it becomes second nature. The game is also pretty generous about letting you recover. Throughout the stages, there are smaller areas where weak enemies continuously spawn, making the perfect spots to quickly refill both your health and your magic before going forward. Each level is what I'd call open level. They're not completely open world, but they're also not strictly linear. You usually have several different pathways to explore, but eventually reaching the same destination. To unlock each boss fight, you'll need to locate 3 keys hidden throughout every stage. While exploring, you'll also discover talisman, chess pieces, and fragments of a mysterious circle. These collectibles reward exploration by offering both hints for bosses, passive bonuses, extra lives, and even helpful upgrades. You also collect hanging demon heads and magic orbs that can be traded at shops to permanently improve your health, magic reserves, and movement speed. Most secret rooms are hidden behind glowing walls, and once you recognize the visual clue, you'll naturally start checking every suspicious corner you come across. One thing the game quietly encourages, without ever telling you really, is finding your own pathway. As I become more comfortable with the double jump and the air dash, I started bypassing entire sections of levels by reaching platforms I didn't think was originally intended to. It made exploration feel rewarding. Ironically though, I often found the levels themselves to be more difficult than the bosses waiting at the end. Once you understand each boss's elemental weakness, they can sometimes go down surprisingly quick. Earlier I compared the Clarity to Mega Man, and nowhere is that comparison where I was in the air stage. There were several moments where I couldn't help but think of Airman stage from Mega Man 2. It never felt like a direct copy, but more like a respectful nod to one of the gaming classics. Then, once the credits rolled, the game introduced a dedication to someone who had passed away, The developers never outright explained the connection, but after seeing the dedication, I couldn't help but wonder if the Mega Man inspirations were intentionally included as a tribute to someone who was important to the team. Whether that's true or not, it made those references feel more meaningful. The final stage changes things up nicely. Lightning becomes a central theme, and for the first time the game expects you to use every weapon you've earned throughout your journey. Rather than throwing a traditional boss rush at you, the game presents enemy sections that require swapping between different elemental weapons in order to do damage effectively. The final battle follows the same philosophy, with death changing forms throughout the encounter and forcing you to remember which element counters which demon. It's a satisfying way to test everything you learned over the course of the whole adventure. For me, each stage averaged about 45 minutes to complete, putting my total time about 7 hours. For a $10 game, I think that's a pretty fair amount of content. More importantly though, Clarity feels like a game that genuinely meant something to the people who made it. From its opening dedication to the themes explored throughout the adventure, you can tell it wasn't simply made just for being another platformer. The messages come through loud and clear. I had a great time with it. The platform was enjoyable, the exploration was rewarding, and while difficulty occasionally spiked, the frequent checkpoints made it easy to put the game down and jump back into it later without losing my progress. If you're looking for a heartfelt action platformer with some very obvious Mega Man inspiration, I think Clarity, the Seven Demons of Vanguardia, is definitely worth checking out. It's a game that feels like it was made with a lot of care, and honestly, the passion shows from beginning to end.